contrary to popular belief, Tua doesn't play one snap against Tom Brady. For me, nothing happened. Everyone else is the one making it awkward. That doesn't occupy a single iota of space with anybody. It's hard enough to be good in this league. We're as the Miami Dolphins, all of our energy is very coordinated and only has to do with us getting better, and everything else would be an opportunity cost that we're not willing to expend.
That's Mike McDaniel, the head coach for whom the Dolphins settled when they couldn't get Sean Payton, and Tua Tagovailoa, the quarterback for whom the Dolphins settled when they couldn't get Tom Brady. And that's the bottom line. That's why it's awkward, because the Buccaneers, quarterbacked by Tom Brady, got together with the Dolphins yesterday for a joint practice in advance of a preseason game. So, yeah, right. I understand Tua and Tom Brady don't play on the field at the same time, but that didn't stop us from saying Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. It doesn't stop us from looking for the next Manning and Brady rivalry. We understand how that goes. And it's not about the fact that they don't play on the field at the same time. It's about the fact that Tom Brady was actively talking to the Dolphins about taking the job that Tua holds. So that's why it's awkward. And look, both teams, I think, have done a good job of internally saying nothing to see here, even though the reality is there is plenty to see here.
Yes. I mean, it's a huge story. I mean, it's fun for people like us. I don't, I'm sure in both of those locker rooms, there was some chatter, around this subject for 24 hours or so. And some guys on the Dolphins and maybe on the defensive side of the ball going, man, imagine what we might have been like if Brady was here. Oh, my gosh, blah, 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 and all that. And like we talked about with Tampa, I'm sure there were some guys in that locker room who were going, does Brady really want to be here? Okay, but he's here working hard and working his ass off every day. He obviously does. So, they come around to that. But, Mike McDaniel, I'll echo what he says. It's just like, damn, you only got – it's hard enough. You're trying to grind through training camp and stay focused on your own life. And, I'm trying to become a better player. I'm trying to make, a team. So I'm sure there was a few guys yesterday out there on the practice field that were looking at that conversation and going, man, what if that guy was on our team and blah, blah, blah. But I don't find it a distraction. I don't think it's a distraction for their football teams. It's just it's going to be kind of just hovering over them a little bit.
I'm curious, though.
Yeah.
And this applies both to Mike McDaniel, the coach of the Dolphins, and Todd Bowles, now the coach of the Bucs. Number one, do you address the elephant in the room with the full group of players? And two, in this age of alternative facts, in this age of truth is just an impediment on the way to whatever it is I'm trying to do you say what happened, or do you try to send a message to the men in the locker room that just gets them to get past it, even if you're not telling them the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
That's a good question. I would be one, if I was a coach or a player, that I'd want to hear, just address it. If I was the coach, I would address it. I just be, hey, listen, we're in 2022. Tom Brady, it doesn't mean that he wanted to go to the Miami Dolphins. Just doesn't mean he just disliked us here in Tampa Bay. There's a lot of things that went into that factor, but we can't, dispute Tom Brady. We know he loves playing football. He's here. He's all in with us right now. And what happened in the offseason and his own personal life, and there's a lot of reasons maybe of why he was trying to make those moves, that's his business. And that's business in the NFL. It's a crazy business. But all I know right now is we're here as a team, and Brady's here, and we're going to go forward. And I know Tom Brady is going to work his ass off and lead us in the right direction. So we could all think about the what ifs, but, screw off and let's go practice today. And I think in the locker room be like, yeah, let's go. And that's it. I think I would address it that way. And I would something similar like that if I was Mike McDaniel. And I'd want to hear that as a player.
It's a different dynamic.
It's a different dynamic. You're right.
With the Bucs, it's maybe Tom wanted to leave us, but he's here, and let's go win one for the Gipper. For the Dolphins, it's they didn't want me. They wanted Sean Payton. You just have to deal with me.
Well,
I'd like to think there's a way to make it funny and engaging, and we know how Mike McDaniel is. I think that's what you do. Not that what he said yesterday was all that funny. I'd like to think what he said in the locker room, it just breaks the ice. It deals with the elephant in the room. And then the reality, we're all moving on together. It doesn't matter who else they may have wanted. I'm not the only coach who's been hired by an NFL team who wasn't the first choice.
Yes, exactly.
You know,
and just lay it out like, hey, it's Sean Payton. You prop up Sean. I understand our ownership wanting him. And Tua, don't be offended. It's okay. We're still in your corner. Of course they flirted with Tom Brady. It's Tom Brady. He's the greatest quarterback of all time. But it didn't happen, so let's, band together and tell the rest of the media and the football world to screw off. Nobody thinks we should be here. We're the second choice, and, let's do something like that. I do, that would be my take, and that would be something as a player that I would rather hear than, act like it didn't happen, or, we're just going to, like you said, just, kind of just like, I don't know, blah, 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 blah. That's not the way I would want to approach as a player or if I was the coach.
And I don't know enough about McDaniel to know if he would do this, but there really is a way to have some fun with it where you could put together a little visual presentation where you can say to the guys, and this isn't me talking, this is just how it would go within the confines of the private meeting room of the Dolphins, but you could put up a picture of Payton and say, hey, you guys could have had a coach who's 58 years old and won a Super Bowl back when you all were in grade school and hasn't done anything without Drew Brees and, blah, blah, blah. And you can have a quarterback and put up the picture of Brady at the scouting combine. And you can have a guy you can have this body at age 45. He looked 45 then. You can have this guy who's close to the end. You can have these two. Or you know what we could have? And then you put up Tyreek Hill. Because that's who we got instead. Is Tyreek Hill. So you guys decide what you want. You guys decide what makes us a better team this year. These two old men or Tyreek Hill. I mean, that's a way to do it. But again, it's not my thought, but that's kind of a way to make chicken salad out of the situation if you're Mike McDaniel, because that's the truth. There's no way they have Tyreek Hill if they do the Sean Payton, Tom Brady thing.
No, you're right. They don't have the assets to trade away. What was it? The five picks, right? Basically to get them. Was it 3 or 5? Well, I can't even remember
5
now.
picks.
It was 5, right? Yeah. So that's just again, I think players always appreciate honesty that way. They can see through bullshit. They can see through it. So I don't know. And Mike McDaniel, I know he's got a good touch with guys, and Todd Bowles has his own way, certainly. But yeah, I would love to have been there yesterday to evaluate, the practice and just the body language of Brady and talking to Tua and all of that. I would have loved to have seen that.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.